Welcome to Anselmo Academy of Music and the Arts online Masterclass series. We are live on Facebook and we thank everyone for watching. I'd like to do a brief introduction and welcome to our guest today. Please help me welcome Dr. Michael Berkovsky, and his student today is Nathan Chi. Welcome, you guys.
Good to be here. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Can we please have Dr. Berkovsky picture on the screen as I read some of his accolades, and there are very many. Born in the former Soviet Union, Dr. Berkovsky immigrated to Israel with his family in 1990. He had studied with Natalie Litvinova and was mentored by Alexander Slobodyanik and Ilya Itin. In 2001, his family moved to Toronto, Canada. He later continued his studies at the Juilliard School in New York City and received his bachelor and master's degrees there, where he studied with Yocheved Kaplinsky and Julian Martin. He later on completed his doctoral degree at the Peabody Conservatory of the Johns Hopkins University while under the tutelage of Professor Young Hee Moon. Michael Berkovsky made his New York debut at Avery Fisher Hall and has toured as a soloist in Ireland, Costa Rica, Japan, Italy, Israel, Canada, and the United States. He has won numerous international piano competition awards and has performed under the baton of Vladimir Felsman, Stefan Sonderling, Leon Fleischer, and William Knoll. His recordings were featured on 96.3 Classical FM and CBC Radio. He has most recently recorded for the RCM, which is the Royal Conservatory of Music, piano syllabus, due to be released in 2022. And last but not least, Michael maintains a competitive studio in which numerous of his students have been awarded top prizes in international piano competitions such as Van Cliburn Jr., Cleveland International, Bösendorfer Yamaha, Canadian Chopin, Canadian Music Competition, among others. Graduates from his studio went on to study at top schools such as the Juilliard School, Yale University, New England Conservatory, and many others. Wonderful. And now, can we please have Nathan a profile picture on the screen. Nathan, born in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. He began piano lessons at the age of 6. He was admitted to the prep division of the Mannes College of Music at the age 15 in New York City and into the honors program the following year. Nathan Chi received his Master of Music in Piano Performance at the Manhattan School of Music in May 2022 as a pupil of Alexander Motuskin. And in today's program, we have Mozart, Sonata in C Major, K 330. So you take it away and have a wonderful masterclass. Thanks again for joining.
Okay, Nathan. So I guess let's just play through start to finish. Unless there were any particular places right away that you wanted to get into, I think let's have a nice performance and then we'll talk about things.
I'll be playing the first movement.
That's right. Yes.
Only the first movement.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry, I had such a loud applaud for you. You sound terrific. Bravo. A lot of very refined details, and particularly I appreciate kind of the focus in your fingertip and the sensitivity to so many of the details here. It's not that I want you to change anything drastic. I think maybe we can only talk about accentuating some of the characters in a more vivid way, or at least that's what it is to my ears. I have this one person that I thought he very much inspired me to understand Mozart a bit better. Do you know who Victor Borge is?
Oh, yes, I heard of him. Yes, certainly Victor Borge, yes.
Okay, and I don't know, you probably know why I said, because he's like the king of musical comedy, right? Okay. And there's this beautiful skit of him imitating what Mozart operas are about. If you have time, go watch it. It's absolutely essential in Mozart to connect with sort of what we call the inner child in you. And it's somewhat more difficult as we age. I don't know if you find it. I remember that when I was a kid, somehow I really enjoyed Mozart, and I felt it was relatively coming easily to me. And then I hit around age 15, 16, and I started getting self-conscious. And I realized, like on stage, I would not feel as easily. My dynamic range maybe was going more into the romantic side. So I had to take time to sort of get comfortable again with this composer. When you play, do you feel very comfortable, or do you feel like a little bit?
I feel relatively comfortable when I play this. I feel relatively comfortable playing this piece.
Okay, terrific. Look, you play it very clean, terrific finger control. I'll maybe say a few things that mostly visually I see in terms of sound, that I think it's important in Mozart to feel as if everything is going up, or even when you play brighter passages, it's always done with the feeling like the arm is not pressing down. I felt it that you play that it's very good, but there is a lot of extra, I would say, weight sometimes on the finger. Okay.
Oh, I see.
So let's start even just the beginning. Your trill is impeccable. Every time you play the trill, I would pay for you to teach me how to do this one.
My teacher taught me how to do that. I mean, I also use this. I simply use 1 and 3 for the trills. That's why I just simply use 1 and 3, because 1 and 3.
Instantly, and it's always brilliant. So bravo! Whatever work you guys have done, clearly it's the right kind of thing. So let's start from the beginning, and I want you to feel instead of pressing down on the wrist, that it's a little bit always. We're picking it up, like the music needs to breathe.
Yeah.
Good. Yes. So obviously, you know that we have this syncopation in the beginning. Yes. For us to feel that syncopation, I think you should be a bit more careful with how you play the very first note, because if it's too loud, we can't hear enough of the expression in the second note. There should be an element of surprise in this. So don't just play it's too direct.
Okay.
Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. Very good. I like that a lot more. So now you were placing them slightly later. Then we have this expressive moment here, and that expressive moment is broken with immediate kind of humor. Right? There is a giggle there. I think if you also play the reply with that same sweetness, it takes away from the contrast. So in Mozart, this contrast between let's say dark and light, or comedy and something serious, it happens so quickly in this question and answer. It can happen within 1 bar sometimes. Half the bar is something serious, and then he goes into his goofy character. So why do I say serious? I think the G, can you release it with the energy that it wants to suddenly leave us kind of in a breathless state? I wish sometimes you allowed yourself, kids, they try to behave well, but sometimes they can be naughty as well. Yes, so like pranking or trying things they shouldn't try. This for me is like one of those experiments when you do like, let's see what happens if I run and I jump on that thing. Will my mom come and tell me don't jump on the mattress or don't jump on the couch? But you go to the couch and you sit on the couch politely. Let's pretend like, well, you went to the hotel.
Excuse me.
You see what I'm looking for is just like in the beginning, we have the long G that's contrasted by the short G, right? And then we have this the short notes, and now we have the sweetness of this. So we started with long, short, then we have short, long. That's Mozart's humor. That surprises us. Sorry. Go ahead, try again from here. We'll do just in short segments there. When you finish the statement, can you make sure that the reply from the cello or from the parent is heard from the first note? So, and for that, I don't know if you do anything particularly special with the C here. Do you do anything special?
You mean this one, C, this C?
Yes.
So are you saying maybe suggesting to me to lift the hand? Oh yeah, I mean like there is like maybe a slur, a separation. See.
Yeah, the slur separation. And another trick that we do is what we call the finger pedal. Yeah, you don't need the pedal. You hold it longer with the finger. That C can feel a little bit richer. Yeah, it can feel darker. So I almost hold the entire C major all the way, and that's it.
Yes.
Okay. Great. We're doing just in small snippets so that we can get as many details as we can.
Yes.
Really good finger control. Like I appreciate that you're super careful with cleanliness, precision. We have to be careful that when we play with this precision, that it doesn't sound like we're a little bit mechanical or we're laboring. Okay? You need to play it. You practice so hard so that when you go perform, nobody knows that you practiced hard. Okay? To them, it's like, wow, he's so talented. He can just do it. He has great fingers. I hear your finger words. When you play this, I hear taka taka. Maybe you can do it more. You know what means off the cuff?
Yes.
It's just let it run. Good. Yes. When you play a passage like this, do you think a little bit of a rotation between the positions?
Oh yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So we have okay. Just to feel that it's running away lighter. Good. Okay, so here Mozart writes in notation what giggles are. Pardon my beautiful singing. It's not because I'm sick, I just don't sing well. But you probably heard in arias, singers imitating laughter, right?
Yes.
On piano, to make this more effective, I think what you have to do is sometimes consider how much sound do you want to open up when. I find that you start your crescendo too soon. So you kind of take away from the shininess of the top. Try think like this. Not too much here, and now really bright here. So then the top, it sounds more humorous, I think, that way. Oh. I liked your second one even more. So try stay light for the first octave, and then just like before, I commented on the entrance of the left hand. It's important that we always hear the first note of the entrance of whatever new material voice that comes in, because otherwise our ear doesn't tune into it. And if you start in the middle, it's too late. Okay, so when you have this, now we need to shift to this kind of a little counter melody. The recline. Can you make sure the E is very present there?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, obviously, in classical Baroque music, sometimes in Romantic as well, there is a lot of repetition, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me? Don't play, but tell me what you wanted to do differently. Do you want to do anything different between the two statements?
I believe the second one will be a little bit softer.
Okay, maybe I didn't fully hear it, but it could be because we're online. Play around with dynamics. You can play around with voicing as well. Maybe think the first time we have more towards the right hand, but then second time you can bring out left hand. There's a myriad of things that you can do. Okay, it's not just louder and softer. I think it's nice also to complement it with timing and voicing, and not just go for loud and soft. Okay. So can you play it once more and give me a clearer contrast the second time? So you obviously feel that there's a change of color and character on this note, right? As I said, everything that you do is absolutely in the right place. I just think you need to do it more convincingly. Yeah. I don't hear enough that you start the new character on that C because you didn't give us a chance to change. I think there should be a little bit more space here. So it's not, I wouldn't melt into it. Just, it's somewhat of a surprise. Remember, Mozart doesn't like to be serious for too long. Okay, he breaks into. I don't know if you watched the movie Amadeus. Did you watch Amadeus?
Oh, portions of it in class actually this year in one of my music history classes, and I see a lot of how his misbehavior, how he uses some, to put it honest, colorful language, some not good language.
Exactly, and then what I really like is sometimes there would be like a serious conversation happening in the room, and he doesn't know what to say, and he will look at people and he laughs. Yes, an outburst of laughter. So this is something that the people were always recalling about his laughter, that it was the loudest in the room and sometimes a little bit awkward, right? So when you play politely and beautifully here, here's your. This is already this infusion of laughter. He doesn't want to be too serious. Okay, So left hand already short on these. So there are two ways for you to take the space between the E and the G, and I can hear that you want to place the G later, right?
Yes.
Good, but do you want to slur the E into the G, or do you want to hear a bit silence between them?
It's because there's a separation between the E and the D in the score.
About the E leading to the G. This.
Yes.
Do you want to slur or tight?
It's just written, there is no particular articulation marking in my book. In my score, it just says notes, right? I just play it straight as it says.
Okay, so maybe it's just online. I actually hear that you slur the E, and I'll tell you why I'm picking on this. It's important to start and finish your characters exactly the way it's written in the music. Like, try not to ruin the surprises by warming up the E to the G's. Just okay. Good. That sounded to be cleaner. Yes. So we one thing and we go to the next one. Try maybe going back to the wrist. It's maybe a different technical approach. I want to feel when I play with a lighter sound that my weight of the arm a little bit pulls up. So like when I play long notes, feel more lightness if there's weight, kind of your arm is as if there is something holding it from here. There's a silly quote I heard years ago in a masterclass with Lang. A student played, and he said, in Mozart, everything is up. And I heard that, and I said, that's a silly statement to make. But then I said, that actually makes perfect sense, that we feel all the energy, the sound always kind of rising. Try to feel it in your hand as well. So it's not, but... Okay, so again, the contrast between this is very much dependent on how sweetly you play here. And the contrast is created with dynamics, and he does it for you with the register. Yeah, the register, it goes higher there. I don't think you need to play with as much singing tone right away from beginning here, because it takes away from the special aid. Let's do it simple here. And then, surprise. This I noticed a few times through the sonata. Sometimes when you play the triplet 32nd notes, they're a little bit smudged together. Can you play them lighter and think that there is a bit staccato between them? So it's, the idea of pearls rolling down the keys. Don't press them hard. Okay. Play again the opening, and I want you to think that the A doesn't go down but up. So it's not, it results in a slight accented tone. Did you ever play a string instrument?
I've never played string instruments, no.
Okay, but you probably have friends who play string instruments.
Definitely, yeah.
And, did you play some chamber music?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, chamber music helped me also a lot with timing and understanding kind of the proportions of dynamics and how much is too much in Mozart, or how little is too little. Because Mozart was an excellent violist, as you know, violinist as well. And the idea of producing kind of a warm vibrato tone and not directly going quickly with your bow, yum. Yes, it results in a sharp sound. So we go, so on the piano, don't press it as, you see, it's not down, but think expressive, but up. Yeah, that's much better. Two-note slurs. Obviously, you have mastered by now what a two-note slur is. There's so many of them in classical pieces. Can you tell me what a two-note slur means to you? How do you execute it?
I think of the first note as being a little bit stronger, and then the second note being a little bit lighter and also a little slightly shorter.
Good. I think you said the right thing. I try to think more that the first note is louder, as you said, more stressed and slightly longer. So sometimes you can accentuate that rhythm. So let's say you do. Can you sit slightly longer to squeeze all the expression out of this diminished fifth, or sorry, augmented fourth? Yes, don't overstay your visit. It's very common in Mozart, particularly with left hand, that we have sometimes quarters followed by a quarter rest, or eighth note followed by eighth note rest, that we slightly go into that rest. And I find that it didn't bother me as much when I was your age and maybe younger. And then I'm getting older now and more picky with things like this, because it eats into the suspense. You see, like when you hold a note long here, it's beautiful, but it makes us feel very relaxed. I would release it the way Mozart asks you. And then, okay, don't eat into the silence. Okay, so let's look again at this idea of changing the character from the moment that it starts. So we have that V to me already is different than this. So can you, I'm not saying to play it later, but change the color more clearly. Maybe brighter to play with this higher register. And now, okay. Very easy trick when you practice, maybe you already do it, to work on quick shifts. Play up to the last note without any changes and then stop. Let's say, and then play the next part with the color you want. Could you play it once like this? So show me the two distinct. I want you to stop midway and show me how you switch from one color to the next one. Stop and then. Yes. Okay, so in your head, you need to visualize as if we have this big space. Of course, we don't play with that space. The changes or entrances of new voices, new ideas have to happen from the first note. Otherwise, we don't hear the change. Okay, so we have now here. I don't know if I would want to be so lyrical on the D, because it takes away from the beautiful diminished syncopation in the next beat. So I would actually shorten it. Okay, go into this without. Okay, Okay, and remember what I said about the crescendo. So your crescendos can peak a little bit later. This and then let's hear the main crescendo at the end. Don't stay serious for too long. Look, he was sweet, but this one, elegant. I'm not saying to play it. With dotted rhythm, always be a little bit on the late side to create more excitement. It slightly feels to me like you anticipated. It can come out more humorous if you have a. Sorry. Can you also come in later with these? And again, you control everything very nicely here, but the sound a little bit sounds to me heavier or thicker than I need. I think we can have. Do you try practice sometimes staccato from the wrist?
Oh,
You know, look, a staccato can be done in a lot of different ways. If I'm playing, let's say, Petrushka, and you need big chords, yes, you will rely a bit more on the arm drop, okay? If I play something of Scarlatti texture, let's say, yeah, we want a very nimble finger because it's just faster for your attack. But with things like this, you can a little bit loosen the wrist. See if that helps you to produce an even more transparent sound instead of a. Let's try it from the wrist, okay? Okay. Yeah, you can experiment more with this idea of using wrist for staccato. Where is the most special part of this scale? Is it here or is it here? Right, it's when the chromatic moment appears, the chromatic steps there again. Don't play the crescendo too soon. You spoil the excitement. And now, and I want you to pretend like you're going to forte, but don't really. There's a lot of theater in classical operas. I'm sure you've seen some of Mozart's operas. Is there a favorite opera that you've seen a few times by Mozart?
One of my favorites would probably be the Magic Flute.
Magic Flute, yes. I was going to say that's also my favorite. But we have Don Giovanni, Così fan tutte. There's an incredible wealth of musical output, particularly in the opera department. I think there is I recall reading a while back that he loved opera more than anything else. But opera was very expensive to produce, very complicated, a lot of moving parts. So maybe we could have gotten even more had he lived longer. I think he would have dedicated it to opera. I want you to be careful that in opera, we never force the sound. So when you play the crescendo, be careful how loud you actually get at the end of this. Because there is a point where I had a few classes when I was younger with Leon Fleischer, and he would say things in Masterclass like, you can play as loud as you want, but never play louder than beautiful. So you can play here as loud as you want, but let's make sure that this E breathes and stays beautiful instead of, it's a little bit pedantic. Can you take some edge out of it? Even slightly less. Yeah, I find it more convincing. Okay, and you can even try even less, kind of like. Try to put a humorous idea in the middle of the. That's charm. So don't play just. Sorry. Okay, so with humor on the. Okay. Again, a question for you about changes of color. Where does the color change? Is it in the middle here? Or is it after this G?
I would say it's after the G.
Yes, I want you to, I think so as well. But you actually changed the color before. So you take away some of the surprise. Complete the idea in full. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that idea of pacing the crescendo. If you really want to hear this brighter, don't get too bright on, because then the D is kind of overshadowed by all of this. And that's when we start feeling, okay, you have a great finger, but it's slightly on the mechanical side. Okay, so reserve a bit. Too polite.
Okay.
What if you just finished it? Because it's not the end of the movement. Yes, I would basically suggest not to do too much ritenuto. Just go. And then you can spend, if you take the space instead of on this, the space can be taken during the rest, which makes the rest more interesting. So, so we have time to change the lighting, the mood in the room, you could say, okay? Could you play just the change there? No, without ritenuto. No ritenuto. The change happens during the rest. That's why you need more time during the rest. Here. So here we start already with totally different lighting. Now it's evening, maybe. Okay.
Oh, I see.
Just play the ending and wait a bit. You need to feel the energy in the room change. You can sometimes listen longer for the silence. It's beautiful with audience when you have silence in a big hall. It's a magical feeling because there is more suspense if you create it on stage. Yes. That was very elegant to my ears. Bravo. So we have these sforzandos here. Even though there is no two-note slur there, the way that you would play it on a violin is excuse me. It would take a little bit time between the G and the E. They would be separated. Can you try to? Don't do. A violinist would not slide tira. It makes it awkward for them. So, to give your scales a spark or a bit more shininess, try to brighten up just the very top. So this, and then shine a light just on the top two notes. Can you do it slowly and play the whole scale light? And these really come out. Yeah, I want you to try it slower so that you see the change. This is where I'm you do too much crescendo leading up to it, so it takes away from the sparkle. That was very, very elegant. Left hand indeed is only playing this.
Yes.
But you could change slightly the color depending on what the right hand did. I wouldn't keep it exactly in the same place. I think it would... Can you move it with the right hand? In left hand, we have the G 3 times, right? And then finally the G sharp comes, which takes us from this repetitive pattern we're in. I would stress that G sharp. You disappear a bit with your harmony there. And then G sharp will go to A. So can you highlight it? Do you sing at all?
A little bit, maybe.
A little bit in the shower when nobody knows.
No.
No, not even there. Okay, I don't know if your teacher makes you sing in class, but I always like to hear my students singing to the material. Try it next time. That you don't need to sing beautifully, but you will see that there are certain things that work for the voice when you play repeated notes. I'm talking about the repeated notes. You would not sing them. Da, 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 da. You would do the third and fourth note. Exactly. You see, you right away played it lighter. And I didn't comment it earlier, but every time that you have those repeated notes, I wouldn't get too expressive. There is no vibrato on this. It's just... Great. Good. So he puts a lot of silly kind of playful things here. And then we have, can you play these almost like it's a quick mordant? Don't play them too evenly. I want to say kind of playful. But, okay, so it will require a little bit practice so that it's controlled. But play them as if a singer would have kind of a giggle instead of not finger. Okay, and then after that, when you play them, this is a surprising element. Or this. Look, we always have this joke about Salieri, that Salieri was the boring composer, sort of in Mozart's time. Yes. Out of curiosity, did you ever go on IMSLP to find works by Salieri?
Can you please repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Okay. Did you ever go on IMSLP to find works by Salieri?
I've been on IMSLP, but Salieri, no.
Okay, you know that there was this rivalry between Mozart and Salieri,
yes,
right?
Yes, correct.
And I finally, thanks to IMSLP, was able to find some of these works, and it's amazing how he writes some charming things, but they're so much more boring than Mozart did. Like I'll simplify. Writing this requires a little bit more humor and whim, you could say. Instead of Salieri, maybe would opt for something more simple. So treasure those little subtle humorous kind of details, okay? There are different ways to do the transition. I like to go sometimes against the current. So if you know that everybody expects you to do do you ever try doing it kind of against our instinct and doing the it can sometimes help material kind of connect more naturally. Yes. Try this. Take your time between the first and second beat, but take the second beat already to the down beat. Just this is where he waits, and now he goes. Might be more organic. So I want you to put the ritenuto here, and then go in tempo here. You see, it's hard to change habits. So you stop exactly here, which is okay. You could do it.
Yeah.
I'm saying to play to surprise the listener and maybe go against the instinct sometimes. Gives us a fresh feeling for that piece. So yeah, okay. And then so what I said is take the time, but take it on the first beat here. But this is in tempo. Now, clearly, you know what's cool about this is the addition of the F and the E, right? As opposed to the first time that just goes to the C. I would play, to highlight kind of that new note, I would play everything before that not much softer. So we have only, so it really sticks in our ear. out of exactly. Okay, so I hear already more subtle changes of characters. So look, what you really good. I don't have anything kind of how earth-shattering to tell you about Mozart. I think you understand it very well. It's very important for us as musicians not to take things too seriously, because we take usually classical music seriously, romantic is very serious, but allow yourself to be sometimes goofy and do something that's to give it a fresh feel, as I said, a nuance that we haven't heard before. Okay, that's why I like, I don't know if you know Fazil Say, the pianist Fazil Say. I love his interpretation. Recently he came out with, well, not maybe not so recent, but with the Haydn sonatas. Oh my gosh, it's full of details that I was like, wow, how could I not think of this? Like, and I sometimes listen to it and I find myself chuckle. And that's what you want your listeners to feel. Like, okay, I heard the sonata already many times. The sonata is quite, at least among classical musicians, quite well known. But we should have some places where like, oh, this is his. He just came up with this idea. Maybe he came up with it now. And that has to do with placement or sometimes dynamics that don't go exactly with our instinct. Like we said about this. But if we go, the F is swallowed by everything else, okay?
Exactly.
So the more interesting things you find in a humorous way, the more fun I think you will have, as well as the audience.
Yes.
Okay. But otherwise, bravo, you're doing fantastic work.
Oh, it was a wonderful pleasure to work with you too. You're wonderful teachers. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Berkovsky and Nathan Achi, for your participation. I truly enjoyed watching you both interact. And Michael, thank you so much for all your great ideas and inspiration and wit and
thank you.
more. Yeah, just absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you the next time. Take care.
All the best, Nathan. Bye-bye.